Here we roll into episode 83 of the Groan Zone. Not been feeling my best this past week, but I'll do my best for you in this episode. Yes or BS, and give me the question, and who the hell am I are your playable games this week. We have more why, more unlucky, and especially more creepy, and a hero of the week, for a change, as your episode content this week. The audience groan this week comes in from Mory of Chillingham Road, Newcastle upon Tyne. The episode all starts off with some groans, of course, from yours truly. My groans. Clueless dog owners. So what do I mean by this? It's those types who, when their dog goes to blatantly bite you, they pipe up with, "Oh, it's fine, they're friendly. Oh yeah, I often growl and bark and show my teeth when I'm being friendly to someone. Are you having a laugh? Your dog clearly wants to take a chunk out of me, you feckless moron." Mumble speak. Have you ever came across this? It's when someone is talking to you and they go quieter and quieter and start mumbling. It is worse when they turn away from you and do it. Can you please let me hear you and speak the hell up, or I'll need an amplifier around your gob. And lastly, people who cannot say exactly what you show them. So the other day I was stopped when outside and was asked by someone where a certain shop was. I took time out of my route to show them, and even though I practically hand-led them, they said they still couldn't see it. The big giveaway would be the name above the shop. All the person had to do was look up. I mentally facepalmed myself in my head and had to reassure them that where I took them was definitely the place they were looking for. Still not believing me, they went inside and asked, "What is the point of me showing you in the first place? I was wearing dress pants, a tie, and a shirt. I wasn't going to mug you. Give me strength." And that is now my groans unleashed out into the wild of the Groan Zone. There'll be more of those groans next week. The show moves on now with our first game, which is, of course, Give Me the Question. Remember, your points in this game are unaffected by yes or BS later in the show. All you have to do is pick the right question that goes with the answer I give you. And with that being said, here we go. Give me the question. Round 1. Your answer is the giant lacewing. Your questions are: Option A, what bug has the largest wingspan? B, what is one of the rarest bugs in the world? And C, what bug, even though it has wing in its name, actually doesn't have any wings? Go Groaners Live, give me your answers. You're playing after the show. Press pause, answer unpause. What do we have from Groaners Playing Along Live? Let me go into the room. We have splits. A lot of the room's gone for C's, and the other half of the room's gone for B's. Okay. Any more? Give you a couple of seconds. Nope, no more. Round 2. Your answer is Dodecanese. Your questions are: Option A, what is the oldest tribal language spoken in regions of Africa? Option B, what was the name of the founder of yoga? And Option C, what is considered to be the oldest cult in the world? Same thing, Groaners, playing along live, give me your answers. After the show, press pause, unpause if you're not playing live. Ooh, they took a while this time, I think I stumped them. Oh, nope, C's are flying in. Okay, any more? And B's, we have another room split. Okay. Round 3, last round. Your answer is a tungsten needle. Your questions are: Option A, what is the strongest needle ever manufactured? B, what needle was made to weave natural diamonds into clothing? And C, what is the sharpest needle in the world? Again, Groaners playing live, give me your answers now. Then after the fact, you press pause, answer, unpause. B's across the board. Okay, any more? And 1A. Okay, Groaners, no problem here, loud and clear. Before the show ends, you'll be getting your answers for this game as well as all the other ones. But now, my sense of creepy is tingling, which only mean it's time for Admin Nicole's Creepy Corner. This week's story is called Melting for You. The sewer lord guided them through the sewers to a potential new home. His rats were the best explorers, and thanks to them he was able to map out everything they found. As they walked through the sewers, and the sewer lord smiled and pointed out all the best things he could find, like the waterfall he often enjoyed picnics at, with the rats and snakes, or that one pipe that often dripped acid or toxic slime depending on the time of day. Those happy moments couldn't last though. The old man had to know where he had seen that branding before. The sewer lord remembered it from his grandfather. He had the same branding, but the number was different. His grandfather was DX6. The old man explained how the facility was built so everything could be heard between rooms. It was supposed to make the chosen ones more willing to accept their new lives if they could hear each other's torture. All it actually did though was give them more resolve. The names associated with each number didn't change them either. The old man, DX4, was known among the scientists and the government as Flesh Machine, a robot-human hybrid. The sewer lord explained how his grandfather owned a malt shop a long time ago. It was supposed to be a family business and something he should inherit. However, it was found out that every time his grandfather said he put all his blood, sweat and tears into his food and his signature malts, it turns out he was being very literal. He wanted to have part of him in everything he did. He was shut down, and so the sewer lord's father became a dentist to spite him. Although he ended up marrying a baker, which just got him laughed at. The sewer lord, back when he was Lionel Malt, was a happy child. His grandfather was absent for a lot of it. When he came back he had that branding. He remembered how scared his grandfather was, and all their days they crammed as much as they could into before he had to leave. His grandfather disappeared after that and never returned. Just a few years later, Lionel too disappeared. I remember that. Your grandfather was chosen for his determination. However, something in his experiments wasn't working. There was something in his body refusing to accept the experiments. Even after he was already branded, they couldn't do a thing to him. So that quack found a way to shut down the part of his brain that was causing the problems. Some new form of brainwashing, but it required your grandfather's approval. It wouldn't work otherwise. So he made a deal to say goodbye to someone, and then he would do whatever they wanted, the old man explained. Lionel recalled all the black cars that surrounded the house while his grandfather returned. No wonder he seemed so scared. To think he had a way out and could have just run, but he knew that would never have happened. They would have gone after everyone else, so of course his grandfather just wanted a chance to say goodbye first. The old man told the sewer lord that his grandfather was a hero. The big escape plan only worked because of him. Only 6 of them survived to escape. Some couldn't leave, others died as failed experiments. They got the big steel door open, ready to escape. So close to freedom, but there was a problem. The door wouldn't shut. An impenetrable door programmed to close slowly to seal everything in. On top of that, Lionel's grandfather wouldn't survive the beating heat. DX6, otherwise known as the Snowman, once his experiment began to work, his whole body started to change. He was as cold as ice, and his body began to melt in high temperatures. The scientists were forced to continue his experiments in a freezer just to keep him alive. The only way to speed up that door closing was to cause a blackout. They were already able to smash the controls to get the door open, but it was closing too slowly. The military were too close, and they were out of options. Mickey Malt, as he was once called, told his friends to run, never look back and keep running. He walked out into the blazing sun, and as he started to melt, he was able to move his body more and more. With his arm about to melt off, he ripped the rest off and threw it to the melting circuits. The blackout shut down the facility and the door slammed shut. It gave his friends enough time to escape as he stood smiling watching them run, knowing he finally did something right. Your grandfather was a crazy man, but he saved all of us that day. We always felt sorry we couldn't get everyone out, but we couldn't force them to come with us. I still hope I'll find them someday, the old man said. The sewer lord was glad to know what happened to his grandfather. He hoped one day to find the spot where he melted so he could finally say his own goodbye to him. He stood still and pointed up to a sewer hatch. A potential new home for everyone, he thought, but his new life meant he avoided the surface now. Also, his rats had explored this place and begged the sewer lord to never make them go back there, so he didn't want to see whatever was up there. She's done it yet again. Another cliffhanger and another brilliantly told story there from the mind of our lovely admin Nicole. Tune in again next Friday at 8:30 PM if listening live, and Saturday or Sunday once the show's been edited and uploaded by yours truly. Now, admin Nicole brought us to the creepy, but now your groany host must ask the age-old question of why oh why? First off, I understand why people have to keep clean and bathe or shower themselves, etc, etc. But can anyone out there explain to me the strange habit of people who take it upon themselves to read the back of shampoo or body wash bottles whilst in the bath or the shower? You clearly bought the product, so you obviously like it, but why in the holy heck must some of you out there do this? Please, if any of you out there are wondering if it is safe to eat or drink the product, then please give yourself a mind enema. I just have to ask about the strange habit. Why oh why? Now Groaners, as you play our games, you might get lucky. But I say this because at the opposite end of the scale was Morrison's this week, as they are oh unlucky! But why, Mr. E, I hear you say? Turns out they've made a new pizza with bacon on. How can you skewer bacon, Apparently, according to people who bought it, the bacon looks like an umbilical cord. Appetizing? I think not. Unlucky Morrisons, try again. We mentioned luck a little bit ago, so you may need it for yes or BS this week. Going straight in now with round 1. If you're not familiar with this game, if for some reason you've tuned into episode 83 now, then go back to the very first episode, episode 1, listen from there, it's explained then to today, alright? You must avoid the BS answers. You get those, your points in this game are blanked. Alright? Round 1. Option A. Snow has a natural colour of white. B. The pyramids in Egypt were booby-trapped to protect buried pharaohs and their valuables. Or option C. Pumpkins are 90% water. Go Groaners live, give me your answers. You're playing after the fact, you pause, then you answer, then you unpause. I think we've had bees flying in there. More bees, bees, and some C's. Okay. Any more? No more from Groaners live. Round 2. Option A. Black cats with green eyes are prone to deafness. Option B. Curtains were invented in the year 3100 BC. And C. Men and women see the colour red differently. Go Groaners. Again, give me your answers live. If you're not playing live, pause, answer, unpause. C's flying in there. C. Alright, I get it, Groaners. You've all gone for C. Okay. Any more? Final call for answers there? Nope, no more. Round 3. Option A. Spiders have clear blood. B. Pirates wore earrings to stave off seasickness. And option C. The hot air balloon was invented in 18th century Germany. Same thing, Groaners live. Answers now, please. After the fact, you pause, answer, unpause if you're not playing live. A's flying in there. Any more Groaners? We have the A's. Any more? Gonna have to give you a couple more seconds, Groaners, then I'm gonna have to move on. Okay. Sorry, Groaners, gonna have to move on. Right then. That's it for yes or BS. Answers coming later on, Groaners. And speaking of you, Groaners, it's your turn to have your groan read out with the audience groan. As stated earlier, this one is from Mory of Chillingham Road in Newcastle. And he groans, getting no peace. I live with my family, so I'm constantly getting interrupted. I'd give my last sovereign coin for a few minutes to myself. I feel your pain, Mory. Good groan. If you're to take part in the show like Mory did, you can by contributing feedback, a groan, a Heroes of the Week nomination, a why oh why, or an oh unlucky via the following. You can comment on any episode and it'll be picked up. You can drop us an email to thegroanzonepod@gmail.com. You can find us on Discord under the Groan Zone. You can hit up myself, that's Mr. E. Groaner, or Nicole Amos on Facebook Messenger. You can even join us on Facebook groups under the Groan Zone podcast. We look forward to hearing from you, Groaners. Moving on, as mentioned earlier, we have a Hero of the Week for a change. Anyone who knows me personally knows I love penguins on the whole, so this week's hero warmed my heart. 2 Humboldt penguins, named Widget and Pringle, were brought in by Amazing Animals to Brendan Care St Giles View Care Home in Winchester recently. The residents were delighted and even had a chance to give the penguins a cuddle or even pamper the penguins under the sink. The penguins are brought around on a little lift so residents could handle them easier. This is simply amazing, as some of the residents have probably never met a penguin up close. Huge hero props to the penguins themselves and their human caretakers at Amazing Animals. And now for the last game for this week's episode with more pictorial torture. Yep, it's Who the Hell Am I? Your clue is a family man from yesteryear, but yet of the future. The picture will only show up on Podbean. So if you're on Podbean, open up the episode, you'll see the picture at the bottom of the episode. I still can't work out why the devil it's not showing up anywhere else. I'm going to take a look on Spotify and see if I can get that to work. Even contact Spotify themselves. I don't know if it doesn't show up anywhere else because anyone else who listens on other platforms hasn't gone in touch to let me know. If you can't see it on what you're listening on, let me know, Groaners, and we'll do what we can. And good luck. The answer for Who the Hell Am I will come next week. Speaking of answers, points. Who? Where? When? Let's find out in the game answers. Starting off, we'll go with anagram anxiety. High chins was your anagram. And the clue, infamous ruler in the early 19th century. Apparently, I've asked for pirates a lot. I honestly can't remember that, but the answer was Ching-shi. I'll spell that. Chingshih. She was an infamous pirate queen, born into poverty, who married a pirate commander under the condition she got half his earnings and partial control of his fleet. Nice work there. More answers to come now with yes or BS now. Round 1. If you went for option A, snow has a natural colour of white, you're completely wrong. It's actually translucent. It only appears white when light bounces off the flakes. If you went for option B, the pyramids in Egypt were booby-trapped to protect buried pharaohs and their valuables, again, you're wrong. Although, to keep people out, they did try using harder substances to build from, such as red granite. And if you went for option C, pumpkins 90% water, that's true, and they also float. So if ever you broke down on a ship somewhere and you got a barrel load of pumpkins, make a pumpkin raft. You'll survive. Round 2. If you went for option A, black cats with green eyes are prone to deafness, you're wrong. Although white cats with blue eyes are prone to deafness instead. If you went for option B, curtains were invented in the year 3100 BC, this is completely true. From the early year of 3100 BC to the 3rd century BC, the great Egyptians invented curtains and used them throughout their entire rule. And lastly, if you went for option C, men and women see the colour red differently, it's true. This is all down to the chromosomes X and Y, which of course men and women have different. And last round, round 3. If you went for option A, spiders have clear blood. This is true. Option B. If you went for pirates... If you went for option B, pirates wore earrings to stave off seasickness. That's 100% true, as well as wearing the earrings for other reasons. And lastly, if you went for option C, the hot air balloon was invented in the 18th century Germany, you're completely wrong. The first man... I'm going to get through this episode, Groaners. I did say I wasn't feeling my best this week. If you went for option C, the hot air balloon was invented in the 18th century Germany, you're completely wrong. The first manned hot air balloon flight was in 18th century China, but they'd been experimenting with hot air technology since the 3rd century. And finally, give me the question answers. Round 1. Your answer was the giant lacewing. Your correct question was B. What is one of the rarest bugs in the world? It was once thought to be extinct, but of course, life finds a way. Round 2. Your answer was dodecanes. Your correct question was option C. What is considered to be the oldest cult in the world? They can be traced back to the end of the 10th and early 9th centuries BC and throughout the first millennium BC. Round 3. Your answer was a tungsten needle. Your correct question was C. What is the sharpest needle in the world? A tungsten needle tapers down to the thickness of a single atom and is forged from an extremely sharp piece of tungsten wire. Hopefully, on that note, some of you playing live or at some other point scored points. If not, you'll get another chance when you join us next week for more escapades into the Groan Zone. Adios, Groaners. See you next week. Bye bye.